small amount of range and within an hour period. But then I'll also ask you guys, is that enough for them to also push us to core ranges, especially considering this is a core to core week, right? So core to core, we already know they could technically take us to 70s if they wanted to. Yes, okay. So, and kind of like, how do I explain this? You know, the day before when they, let me share my screen on Twitch. Hold on, I have it pulled up. I turned Twitch on, guys. If you want to get back on there, let me just turn on the screen. Remember the day before when they, I'm trying to think of when it was. Okay, when they pushed 69 50s to 69 70s. No, that's not the day I'm thinking about. What day was it that they... Oh, okay. Like even this day, you see how like when they started pushing above the 70s, 80s, and then actually pushed 6820s back here, and then back in here, I think it's this that I'm talking about. Okay, remember how they could have stalled the 50s, 60s back in here, and that would have been technically enough range on the 9th and 10th, but they had odds of pushing core, and then they kind of did it like last second, kind of the same thing here, how they could have stalled, but then they ended up pushing 69, 28, 29. And then same thing here yesterday, how they could have stalled 69, 50s, but they pushed 70s. It's been a pretty common theme. So like if you look at it on like a 5-minute or something, for instance, okay, if we go back to the week from the 13th, okay, this, they had like the big, this we needed the 67, 88 retrace here and to get back into the zone. So this was all fine, but I'm talking about here, like on, what day was this? Monday. Like you see how they initially pushed 6850s and prevented it from staying stuck in the channel? Remember I said like the first 3 minutes they pushed it like right away so it didn't stay stuck in the channel? That helped initially push the 6668 and then they expanded, okay? But they also had expanded that day, but I don't know if you guys remember, they expanded above and beyond. They went to the 6920s. Do you guys remember that? So kind of like they could have stalled 6970s, 6980s. It would have been enough, and then they ended up, not 69, sorry, I keep mixing up ranges, 6870s, 6880s, and then they ended up pushing to 6920s, okay? There, that was the extension. I don't know if you guys remember that. And basically, remember, it was like the 52, 55. These were like the 70-point intervals, right around here, and then they ended up pushing like full ranges, which is like the 103, 107, okay? Core ranges, basically, okay? They technically could do the same. The other day was similar, but remember how they pushed the above 55, 59 points to the 70-point increments? What day was that? That was... I don't want to get distracted on some other place here, so I just... Can someone tell me if Tesla breaks? I'll just set this, but...
Which level on Tesla? Because I'm on it right now. I'm on
Probably like
Tesla.
391.
Yeah, I might do it right now. Honestly, on this
Yeah, I
30-minute
odds right
candle.
now too, so that's why I don't want to...
Yeah, it's at 390.60 right now. It's going on this candle right now, but if it breaks, it's 391. I'll tell you.
Because what I was watching earlier, like ES was moving off the 24-minute, but Tesla had slightly different time frames. I'm pretty sure on Tesla I used, I don't know if it was the 29 or...
I'm on the 30-minute right now.
Yeah, it was just over 30 minutes, so I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it was, because I used some weird frames on Tesla today. It was like a little bit past ES. I don't know what it was though.
On the 144-minute, it's going to it should break it. Honestly, I feel like it is gonna break it just by this candle.
Yeah, because it had
It
some
looks
odds
strong.
coming up, and it has to be before 3.
Yeah, this 2 hour strong too. I think yeah, this 2 hour candle it should fill that wick to the upside. So it should retest 394.48, honestly. But AZ it just broke over 391 right now.
Yeah, this is it. It's the 46-minute Dougie. That was linked to that
Is the 46 minute?
12:26. Yeah, and the flip is 244. That's why I was watching just before 2 on this and 112 because they were. You see how they brought range down before 2? This is what caused that recycling. So when they were trying to push it here, remember I had that
Uh-huh.
155 to 2 o'clock window? I wanted them to break up during this period and then they broke it down. So you basically want the exact same range that they had on this 58 stick, which was like $1 to
Yeah.
72 cents or something like that, to be similar on this 44 stick break. Okay, so that way it kind of like basically almost offsets the range reduction that they had there. So I think that that's okay because it's at least over 391, but I think a little bit higher would have been a bit better, like closer to like 391.40. What was that time frame? 41? I didn't
The
write them down.
46, the 46.
46. Can someone
Was
write
it
that?
46? I'm pretty sure it was
It
46.
was 46 because these ones were linked to the highs like stalling back here. They're not like exact, but it's kind of like they're more linked to like the
Oh, pretty
volatility
much
sticks at like
exact.
1227. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like 50 or 303 is another window that's linked to highs, like 303, 305. This window in here. This is the earliest window though to get back like half the range on Tesla. Because most of the highs that hit on Tesla, like they kind of stalled. Like you could use the 1143, 1144 ranges too, but I mean their actual highs are around that 1223, 1228 window. So technically speaking, you could use 1224 flips too, which is why that time frame that you were saying works good too, because a lot of the 1224 flips also aligned with ES highs, and usually those ones are like a bit easier because there's a lot of time frames that flip at like 1224,
Yeah.
like the 18 minute. This has a 248 extension, so it's kind of like this right here, the initial high. Okay, you see how like they stalled here at 44, and there's like a
Mm-hmm.
4 minute flip to 48. It's the same thing as like this window right here. Okay, this is the same window. It's about like 4 to 5 minutes. So basically what this stalling right here, it technically could have like a 5 minute window from the 244, because this breaking at
Oh.
244 is too late. It would have been better if it broke at 43. Does that make sense? Like before
Mm-hmm.
that candle closed. So but the actual high, or like stalled high, I don't know if you can see, is stalled at 1228. So it was technically, it's still within the 4 minute window, but it wasn't the actual flip. So the actual flip was 1227. So 4 minutes, and then the 1223 was ahead of the 1224. So you have like maybe max 5 minutes during this frame. Otherwise, it can start stalling and head like come back below like that whatever that spot is, 390.68. These areas here. So you could 48's a flip, but 49 is the calculated time. And that basically keeps it extended till that 3 o'clock period.
Bet. Cause bro, I don't usually double dip. I double dipped
ES though
on
is
some
same
stuff.
thing, like what I was saying earlier, like kind of like what they did on the 13th. Same thing to what they did on the 14th too, though. Like on the 14th, they broke 69.70s,
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember that? But technically speaking, on that day, they could have initially stalled, like when they first broke off these areas here. Okay, this is when they started hitting like these ranges, and then off overnight lows, which is off the 69.20s. I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember how I said that this 50-point ratio, 52, this was technically enough range for that session, but if they wanted to push it. So yesterday was kind of the same thing. And then that's when they ended up pushing the 70, 71, 79-point intervals. So today's basically the same. Like they technically 50s is enough to be considered a max range, but based on the themes from this week, if they want to keep pushing, they can. Like there's nothing really stopping it, especially if they get single sticks through like 5-6, 5-8. And so far this is already more than the 51-point break. So it's the exact same thing. Like you remember how I said yesterday they had 51, 52, 55, 58-point intervals? This is the same thing. But it's aligned to 70, 52, 70, 58 areas, okay? So these, okay? It's the same thing. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like yesterday when they broke those ranges, it was the same thing as them getting to like 52, 56, 58. Right now, we're at that exact same spot, okay? Currently off off lows, open, close, okay? Like here, which are the 7004, 7006, which yesterday's session, those were the 76, okay? Does that make sense? These 7004, 7006, 70, you guys shouldn't have forgot by yesterday. If you guys forgot by yesterday, that's actually insane. But, or these, okay? That's why they were calculated ratios. So there's two ways you can do this. You can look at it as continuing the max ranges, which is what I said earlier, or you could just start over and do it off here. So if we're starting over again, if you're starting over off today's open lows and we're still using core ratios, okay, do you see how you're hitting 53 points? Do you see how you've already hit 66 off lows? Do you see what I'm saying? So these are pretty calculated ratios from like where they're hitting right here. If we do it off today's actual real-time open, which was, where was it? It was like 69.14 or something. They have yet to hit like even 50 points. Okay, so that's why we could run into a bit of a, so we're hitting the 44-point ratios here off open and 66 points off lows. 66 points off lows, 44 points off real-time open, okay? If they extend here, they're breaking 66 points off lows, and they're also breaking 44 points off open, which automatically puts you back into these ranges here, which is why, do you understand what I'm saying? This is why 70, 66, 68, 70, 71 could be in play. They're the same thing as these ratios off real-time open. Off real-time open equals 70, 66, 70, 71, etc. Okay, or these ratios off session lows, session close, session open. Does that make sense? And that's the exact same kind of thing that we had yesterday. So these areas here, you can have like 66 point ratios, takes you to 7-1. Okay. Off actual lows, you'd already be at like 77 points, 78 points at these areas. Do you see See what I'm saying? That's why there could be a lot of like confluence in the 60s versus off session, open session, close. This is how they really would expand to 7-8. Okay? If they really want to expand, that's how we could get that. That would be off session, open session, close, getting like these ratios. Okay? Does that make sense? Same with here. And max core ratios off session, open session, close basically give us this the 70, 80s. Off real time open, that's what would give us an odd of getting into the zone. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and that's what could put the 7120s in play for the week that we talked about yesterday. This scenario puts 7120s in play. Okay, I would say zone entry by the 16th probably makes sense for that, right? 70, 88 plus. And then you can also look at this too as just the same ratios we looked at from yesterday. So this is 132 points. I already talked about this. I don't want to talk about this too much. But this is the 132 point range from yesterday's lows, yesterday's open, yesterday's close. Off our 6920s, 80s. Okay, so that's why I'm saying this area is pretty heavy. Like obviously if they want to stall this range in here, they definitely could. These are 130, 132 point ratios, right? Off wider ratios, that's where you could look at this being like the 173 points. Okay. Do you see what I mean? Is also the same thing as getting you a zone entry. So there's a lot of confluence around 7092, 7093. This is where we had the 346, but around 7110, that was off these ranges here, off weekly open. This is how you'd get these areas here. So weekly open is still set to the 7120s. Whether or not they do that this week though it's going to be relative to what they do around these 50s. Does that make sense, you guys? Because these 50s are what could push us to the zone early. Okay?
I hope they do it this week.
And if they did something like that, think of it from like these areas off, kind of like these highs, lows, open, close, like these kind of ratios. Okay, or even if you want to like measure off here. Okay, remember how we said these were the 380, 375 expansions? It's the same idea. Okay, if they did something like that or something like this. So this area basically expands the market. Okay? I didn't want to look too much at like the 107, 115, but we did use those yesterday, and you can technically still use them today because they're still linked with basically the breaks of 115.5 points is the breaks of all-time highs. You could probably apply them to today's actual open close, and that's how you'd get same thing like the 7120s break is also a core. Aside from it being the 346 point expansion, it's also like off open. Okay, this week's open, okay, which was what, 6780 or something. What was this week's open again? 6780. Okay, plus 346. Today's open, close, plus max core ratios, so 115. Send those calculations. And I'm going to get back and focus on my positions because I don't want to miss any of this. But that should give you guys an idea. What do those equal? It should give you an idea of why and how they could take it to these ranges and how that would be the case. And remember, when you double core ratios, that's how you start getting like 107 times 2, the 214, 230, 232 point ranges, okay? Which we didn't really look at too much, but technically it could be like a doubled core ratio, or even like the 132 points from here to here. This is still quite a bit, but and specifically off like last week's close. Does that make sense? So off last week's close, you're already hitting like 196. So hitting these areas are basically hitting double core ratios here. Okay, in the 70s and 90s off Friday's range. We've already done that off this week when we broke 70, 26, 27, which is why holding this area this afternoon is just as important, okay? Because these areas here are also like these. Does that make sense? These are the max core ratios, guys, when you double them, like the 214 to 20, 225, 230. Does that make sense? Which is why the 7004, 7022, 26 ends up being like pretty important support, because if you can hold that, you can push basically to a new zone, okay? And that's how you could end up getting like the 256 point breaks, which is another way of looking at this. I just don't want to overwhelm you guys, but 256 points off Friday's close is basically getting us to 7120. So there's multiple ways of looking at this. They all align to the same thing. It's just kind of how you can position it, okay? And then off weekly lows. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Either way you look at this, this is off Friday's close, okay? These areas here, this week's open, this week's lows. They're still 346, 300, and they're also core ratios where they're stalling. That's why, like if they hit these areas, that's why they could expand. So do what you guys want with that information. I think that these are obviously some pretty big areas for them to stall at today if they wanted to. I don't think that the market really owes us too much more above this, but because we already met the conditions for the 15th hitting highs, and we already knew that there's likely some overhead around the 6-1 to 5-8, 5-9 areas today. So I think a lot of this now is going to be relative to do they hold 4-8? Do they bring it back to 4-2? They did a good job holding here. I'm just marking the important spots, okay? But so a lot of this now is going to be relative to if and when they can, if they hold the channel and hold the means, and if they can take this back to, I would say if they hold here and clear 6-6, then they're definitely on their way to get these core ranges. Okay? I had the Tesla flips right here on the stall. Dougie, where'd you go? This is the 503, 504, 505 window on Tesla for the retest. Are you there, Dougie? I don't know if Dougie signed off or not, but Dougie, if you're still there, I don't know if you're here. If you are still here, look at the range difference at the 502 stick versus the 244. So this period had higher odds, right? Look at this. Do you see that? Look. Remember how earlier I was saying like you want ideally minimum this 72, but probably a push of like 106 points. Do you see how much closer this bar is to this bar? And not just Dougie, anyone else in here too. Okay, this is the 3:03 p.m. window is a calculated point for Tesla to expand. So you want to see if they can basically push these ranges here between 303, 302 to 305. And we said earlier that market, based on how they reacted here, is giving roughly 5 minutes. So there could be a bit of an extension if we apply the same logic. Okay, so but we need to see some progressive sticks. On Tesla. Can someone put this in the chat? Izzy thinks that ES can definitely break to poor ranges today if they can get.
Izzy.
Did you see that, Dougie? I was trying to
Yeah,
show you.
from
Yeah,
that.
you see like the so this kind of range right here. They had higher odds at 303, 04, 05, but you see how like they broke more than like a point. Like that gives way more
Yeah,
constructive price action. So
I'm telling you, it's gonna boom.
but the cutoff was it's the 5 minute window, so you could use like the same 5 minute window from 303. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to stall here. It has to keep moving. It can't stall before 308.
Come on, Tesla. I know what it wants to do, man. I'm telling you, this out of every stock I've traded, Tesla is my bread and butter. Like, bro, it's going to 400.
Guys, on my SPY contracts though, I did cover quite a bit though. Like I bought at $1 this morning, so they already hit 4. So I did
Dang.
take some off because those are the ones that I bought intraday. But the ones I bought from yesterday, like off the 6980s, I still have my full position on those, just because
Oh my.
those ones obviously are less risky than these ones intraday. But the ones from this morning, um, I mean, $4 is that's still a big move. So I didn't want to get
That's good.
I
That's
didn't
more than big moves.
I didn't want to get greedy in case they do stall 69 or 70, 58, 70, 61.
Nah, I feel you on that. That was me on Tesla. I sold and I got back in. So
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm
I
playing
got
with
back in too though.
profits
I
at this
bought it this
point.
morning and then I bought it again this afternoon. I did cover those, like the ones that I bought here, but I
Mm-hmm.
covered when it stalled, and then I re-entered when it came back down right here.
Yeah.
But I guess waiting for entry here would have been better for timing, but whatever.
Nah, I feel you on that. That was me on Tesla. I didn't wait for the pullback. I just like, cause I know where it wants to go, so I just entered. I'm like, I don't really care. I know I gotta break that habit though, and just wait for the time.
I kind of stopped timing ES, but I figured it's probably it. ES and Tesla are kind of on similar time frames today, not exactly, but these were some of the frames I was using earlier on, like you see like the 3 bar 1 2 3 4 and then it exhausted 5 6
Mm-hmm.
7 8 9 10. This flips at 316, so it's still in an expansion period here. That's why I want to see if
Yeah.
they continue this. Okay, guys, the 10th bar ends at 316 on ES, which is also technically the continuation period. So that's why these areas around 5861 could basically expand us. And it makes sense because it's what I talked about earlier. And I did say this earlier. 70, 55, 58, 71, 61 seems likely. That's why I covered there, because I didn't want them to end up stalling, and then you guys have seen how they sold off. But the good news is if they clear these areas, and I would say probably 70, 66, then they could see that 11th bar continuation. We also have many candles from yesterday. Do you guys remember that I said, I don't remember exactly what time frames they were from yesterday, but kind of like the how we had like these frames, but there were much wider ones. What was it? They were very off time frames. I have to go back and check. Like I know we had some of these, but I'll get the exact increments. But even the 6 hour, one, two, three,
Oh, that
four,
6 hour looks
five,
nice.
six, seven. This is still the seventh bar, and these ones run until close. So what were the exact time frames that we used yesterday? Like those really odd ones. Do you guys remember? And can you, if you guys are gonna listen on here and not listen on Twitch, like honestly, that's actually that. At least join both and mute me on Twitch if you want, so you can watch the screen because I have no viewers on there. I don't remember what it was. I think it was something around the 6 hour, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But a lot of them looked really, really good for basically just continuation. The reason I want the exact frame though is because I did say yesterday that this is going to continue into tomorrow and it could give us the exact time. So I know this says duration till close, but no, it was a very big time frame. I'll go back and double check. Thanks, guys. Well, there's definitely some that aren't because usually on average, if most people in here are watching, it's at least around 40 viewers. Now it went up. It was at 16, so I could tell that there is definitely people not tuned in. I'm only using this so it can at least transcribe. The 12 hour is nice too. So 12 hours really clean. You could also base it too, guys, off the actual lows that occurred. So, you know, like around 6 a.m. this morning. So do you see that, Dougie? The reason why the 12 hour is nice is because that is around 6 a.m. But if we want the exact time that that formed, then we could maybe look for something around 6:30, 6:33
Mm-hmm.
this morning, which pull up the 94 minute, the 188. Oh, it's okay, guys. It's just, it doesn't really help me. But especially if I'm going to be taking away from my trades. 251, 753. These could be some more precise time frames, I guess, that we could look at. 94. When does that flip over? Okay, see? This kind of gives us like more exact points into end of session. 3:56 p.m. Oh, well, I mean, I think YouTube, I always forget that this is also linked to my YouTube, so. But either way, Twitch or YouTube, Discord does absolutely nothing. It's just like opening a microphone and having a conversation. Which, if I'm trading in real time, I don't really care to go on Discord when it's not real time hours, but in real time hours, it just makes more sense. They don't though. I've never been paid anything by YouTube. I don't have enough viewers. I need a lot more viewers on there. But I know that they do pay a lot because my friends tell me how much they make on there.
They do. They pay a lot.
Yeah, I already have, but that's not true though, because that's no, it's not. That's not true, Eddie. I hit more than 6,000 subscribers on YouTube at one point, and I still have been paid zero. It's relative to how many hours you have. You have to have like a certain number of
Yeah.
hours, and it's a
You need
crazy
to.
amount of hours. It's like
Yeah. You need about 3,000 hours
it's like
on YouTube.
3,000 hours or something, yeah. And I never used to like have it synced. So now that it's synced, I think I could meet the hourly whole like threshold. I actually haven't checked since
Yeah,
December.
you can meet it. If you stream from market open to close, you will hit it
But
like fast.
but you still need a certain number of viewers.
No, all you need is the hours. You
I
need the
think for
hours
me,
and at least like 1,000
you can't
subs.
even get ad revenue though unless you hit those hours. You still have to hit those hours, even if you have, like even right now, I still have over 3,000 subscribers, but I haven't
Yeah,
hit the
but the
hours.
only thing you need is the hours.
Yeah, you need hours, and that's why. So I synced OBS to YouTube, which I think even if there is no views, you can still get hours. Which I mean, I was already streaming all that,
Yeah,
which is so annoying because I was streaming all those hours on Discord the entire time these last 8 years, but I just never streamed on YouTube, which is really stupid on my part. How do you view that again, Dougie? I forget.
So I have the app, the YouTube app. Uh,
Well, if you go under
yeah.
our, oh,
So
okay. See, wait, look,
the
wait, I found
YouTube
it.
studio, and you
Oh,
go to your, I think it's the pay. No,
yeah,
it's the earn,
it's the
and it
earn.
shows you.
Yeah, see, look. So I'm still not eligible. You have to have one of these. So
Yeah, you either need
honestly,
3 million
that's
views for
pretty
YouTube
good, you
Shorts.
guys, because I was only at like 300 or 400 hours before like did the synchronization with OBS. So that's a huge improvement. So I think maybe by summer I should be eligible on YouTube, because
Mm-hmm.
that was the one thing that was making me not eligible. So if you prefer watching on YouTube, Alexis, that's still fine. That still at least contributes towards my hours. But yeah, Discord does nothing. But this is way better than before. I'm pretty sure last time I looked at this, like before I had uh, linked my OBS to YouTube, it was only at like 393 hours or something. So this is in the span of like, it's too bad it doesn't let you actually click it and see. Like I can't click and see, but I can't even apply. So once I'm eligible, then they'll let me apply. And
Yeah,
and
and
for
then the
sure,
moment
once
you
I'm
apply, you
eligible,
get
then
it.
I'll probably start using YouTube, because I think YouTube is a lot
I'm
more
telling you,
popular for
YouTube.
finances.
Yes, yes, it is. Izzy, like during COVID, when I was streaming on YouTube, I had like, I think the most I had was like about 700 people. They would watch me trade, and to this day, I have no clue how I traded in front of all those people. It was a
Yeah.
lot of
Well,
eyes,
even
a
like the
lot of
public
eyes.
short views, like I think like I could easily make like shorts, like they're, but 10 million views is quite a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's,
shorts. You gotta like
you have to give
be
them,
hip
you have to be,
with the braid
that's,
rock.
yeah, that's a huge amount of
Uh,
that. Wait, you guys saw this, right? You see how it says 3 million on there?
yeah,
If
that's a YouTube short.
no,
You
no,
just
no,
gotta
no,
make a video
no,
that's
no, no,
five
no, look at
seconds.
this. I just scrolled down further, and like to continue to grow, you actually need 10 million views, which that's a lot of views, to be honest. To even be eligible, that's crazy. But I'm almost halfway there for public hours watch. So if I, when did I start syncing YouTube to Twitch? It would have been, let me see. I can check on my videos because it shows me
Honestly,
all my
if
live
you stream
videos.
every day, you should hit it like fast from like market open to close. You will hit it
I'll
fast.
know exactly when I started doing it, because it wasn't. I link them in August, and I didn't even stream that much in February, March. So August, yeah, I would say by end of the year or something, or like at least by maybe end of summer, I would probably be eligible, I think, because most of those hours came from the last 6 months of streaming. Tesla stalled Dougie at these points. I really wanted to try getting back over like 392.43. It wasn't bad though. I think
Mm,
it's still,
yeah, I have to tomorrow. I'm not gonna trip over it because I mean like it's up $26 for the day. So I would rather it stall than break down.
yeah.
Shit. Because it can always go up after hours. It can always go up pre-market. Like I'm telling you, this thing's gonna keep running. Fuck off.
What is
Giving you
that?
any.
You guys, someone's mic is open, and there's someone swearing.
I thought it was.
And this
Yeah,
is
I'm like, it's
streaming
not
on
me.
Twitch and YouTube, so don't get me banned. Turn off your mics.
I think Noble was your mic.
You guys are gonna get me banned off YouTube before I can hit those hours.
Yeah, but I'm not worried on Tesla because I know. Watch everyone. I'm telling you, everyone is trying to time the top, and like you cannot time the top of this thing. It's just gonna blow you. Like I learned my lesson on Tesla when I first started to trade it. The first time I tried to go short on that junk, I learned my lesson. Never step in front of a freight train because you will get run over. And anytime it has one bearish candle, I'm telling you, it always goes up. Like
Um,
this stock, it makes one shape, and the only shape it makes are triangles. That's all it makes on Tesla. Cause Izzy, you still know that day it went from what, like 500 up to like 3,000,
mm-hmm.
and then it split. Yeah, like I'm seeing like those flashbacks. I don't think he's gonna go like the like I said. I see 400, maybe 420, because that's Elon Musk's number, maybe, but at least 397 and 400. Because I mean, like it's right there to like 400, and the market loves whole numbers.
The spot is around $400 and like 50 cents or something. That's the
Yeah.
32 point break.
Okay,
It's like
but
400, 401, something like that.
yeah.
251. Um, did you guys look back at these? Oh, okay. See, look, this Dougie. This is what I was trying to show you. These are more
Mm-hmm.
linked to overnight lows, okay? So this is what could make this durational till close. Look at this flag, you guys. Okay? This is linked to lows last night. How clean is that? And obviously you can't see this on the
Dude.
daily, right? But it's there on these time frames. So what is this? 752, 753, these time frames. Okay? And what we
Mm-hmm.
could do is, do you see that? These are linked to lows. We could make this so that maybe we measure like the incremental points. So what would that be? I mean, you could maybe look at like, what's the
Oh,
251?
the fact that you time that bottom is insane.
251. You could also look at like, you can divide them too. So we could go like 753, like 188 minutes or something like that. Let's see. I just want to see. Because I'm pretty sure this is close to what we used yesterday. And a lot of these are going to be like right around, yeah, 188 minutes. They're not exact, but like they're pretty close, okay? So this is why we probably have some odds into end of session. 349. Can someone write these down? 349, 356. We could see a pretty insane SPX late day trade based on these um, durations of time, okay? And these specific increments. Because this is what could make it durational till basically session close. What time is it right now? We also had that one flip coming up at 3:30 from our time frame from earlier, but we mostly have odds today for like end of day. They're very, very late odds. So, and this is durational till session closes today, which is why they could move this late day. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
So,
Especially now if they're stalling.
mm-hmm. And I think it would probably throw a lot of people off guard because
Mm-hmm.
they probably wouldn't expect us to move much more than this because this is obviously a pretty huge move, but we're gonna keep that window open just in case. You could also roll into tomorrow if you wanted to, like if it's easier that way. But where is
Have till
SPX?
Friday.
So this should also sync to SPX being at the 70/20s. Okay, so look, yeah, SPX getting into bull zone would be the same thing as ES getting there to 70, 66, 71, whatever. Okay? And a lot of this is going to be based on them clearing the 6-1, 6-2. These spots in here, these are pretty big areas for the market. So like 70, 25, 70, 30 calls, I guess, on SPX. Like those could be like some late day trades, but obviously be careful. Like don't just blindly buy that. I'm just telling you guys because those are the odds based on structures that we have. Most of you guys should have already made pretty good money today anyway from the earlier break. So Tesla, I think, is getting a bit of a stick break here too.
Ooh, 392.4. Let's go. Telling y'all, I do not lose on this stock. Like one stock I know, it's Tesla. I've been trading this stock since 2018. And it's 4 hours. And the thing with Tesla, this 3 hour candle is red, but if it breaks over 393.15, then it should flip green because the 4 hour time frame is green right now.
Tesla has the
So if
flips
that 4 hour
right
time
right
frame
away.
goes up, this 3 hour time frame is going to flip green,
And
and
it
it
has
should
it
push
has that
this
window
band.
at 3:30. So
Oh, that's right.
what's
It
the
closes
what's
for
the
me.
range in time between this 44 and this? It's moving in about like 19 to like 22-minute intervals. So like every 19 to 22 minutes off these frames here. So what was that flip? 312, 313. That would be right here, Dougie, at 525. Okay.
Hmm.
And then the cutoff we said was what, four what did we say that cutoff was earlier? 307, 308. So
Yeah.
you could measure 19 minutes off 308, which would be 327. So it's kind of like the reset window. So this is these are the intervals it's basically moving in. Do you see that on my screen?
Uh huh.
And then look, if you measure it off the actual highs and then like when they stalled back in here, this is when they failed initially. So Tesla's moving in roughly 19-minute intervals. So I would also mark maybe 344, 345, like to 349, those frames. I took some SPX on ES, guys, so I need to obviously monitor those like very
Yeah, yeah,
closely.
Izzy. Izzy, you got it. You go, you do your thing. The chat ain't gonna care. Your trade them first. Your trade comes first. Because we are at a key spot right now in the market, a key time, right at 2:30 when it flips, or
I
at three
took it off
thirty
these
on the
ranges.
East Coast.
I took it when they kind of held off 70.56, but they have to break in like the next 2 minutes, otherwise I'll cut those.
Where the Bears at, man? On my Twitter on the weekend,
I know, and I didn't even have
everyone's
Twitter to post
bro.
any of this. Do you know how annoying that is?
Bro,
Like I could have posted so much this week, and
bro, so many people. Izzy, I saw a tweet. Someone said the biggest bear market is gonna happen on Monday,
that would have been a
and
really good
so
opportunity
Monday
too to
came.
to post the Substack, and I never got a chance to post anything. My account is they
Yeah,
haven't even looked at it. Like I sent them that email the day
still,
before. That was the first email that I got that wasn't like, oh, this isn't your account. I
bro. How long has it been? I hate Twitter now. Like
I
they should have been looked at your account because I'm like, you have all those followers
it's not even about the followers. I have it linked to
and
my
your two
Stripe.
factors
I
on.
have
Yeah,
my phone
exactly.
number on there. I have my full name on there. I have my address on there. They have my passport information. They have my driver's license. It's
And
not.
it shouldn't take this long.
Yeah, and like I have a lot of like big followers that follow me. You know what I mean? That like they could also get
Mm-hmm.
hacked. Like I have a lot of followers that follow me that have over 1 million followers. Like they're at big risk if they talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Or like think on
Mm-hmm.
something or whatever.
Now you're on your second account. It feels so weird, like, bro. I'm not used to Izzy having
Let's see what
little
happens on
followers.
on Tesla here. 330 is the flip that I had on ES2. So and they're already
So
taking
they
out
both
highs
should be in
before
sync.
330. So that's good. They already took it out at 329.
Dude, ES looks like it still wants to go on this 4 hour. Like it looks like it just wants to move. Are we at the all time high? It did make an all time high. Oh my! I just realized.
Mm-hmm.
Did it? Or
Yeah,
am
it
I
did.
tweaking? No, it did. What?
I think so 70, 66, 70, 71, 70, 78 core targets could be in
Oh,
play if they start pushing around the 330 window. I think 330, 336 is going to give us an idea here
bro,
because
this 3 month time frame too. Wow, it just broke. What's that resistance at? Oh, at 7043 on ES. Yeah, it's holding above that. Oh yeah, it might still go. Yeah, this junk it just broke that. Yeah, and I know people are they are trying to go short on this thing because they're like, oh, it just make a new all time high. I'm gonna go short, and it's just gonna keep going up
yeah, wait until this hits
because that's what
7120s.
happens.
If this hits 7120s like we're thinking it could, I think people probably cry. That's a huge move. How much
Because
time
that's
is
what
left to
people.
this candle?
No, it just hit 3:30 on the East Coast. This candle just open.
Tesla stall too. Most odds today anyway are for the last like 10, 15 minutes. So
Yeah, it makes
we
sense.
we
That's
could
that's why like I'm not gonna trip because like usually like the last like 10 minutes. That's when like the volume really comes in at the end of the day. That's when you really see where we close at.
I don't even know what to put
Yeah,
in this midweek report.
I didn't even realize we made a new all time high. I was wondering why people kept saying that on Twitter. Like, oh, all time, like, what are y'all talking about? I didn't even look on the weekly. Like, dang.
I mean, we had odds for this today, but I don't know if I should put in the midweek report that we could still get 7120s because I don't want some people to just be like,
I
oh,
mean, just
why?
put it as a risk. Just like this is risky. I mean, if the market is in the right spot at the right time, it could maybe you got to use those keywords. Maybe it could hit 7120. Again, maybe. I didn't say it could. I said maybe.
Well, if we get to
No.
70s today and close in those ranges, we probably will get 7120s this week. Or like at the least around that April 21st to 20th time frame, like our next flip dates, which are like the 20th, 21st, 24th, because this is basically a bull extension from the 14th to the 28th, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so far stalling. How much did they stall the 330 period? Because what they need to do is get
Hungry.
over 6-6, so they're probably going to keep stalling to prevent that from happening. Like 6-4, 6-6, basically the um, to get out of the means, I guess. 133 points is 132 points, sorry, is also these areas here we said, right? Like if they get those full breaks from yesterday,
Yeah.
they already broke that. Do you see that? So these areas are pretty huge. These are the 133, 134. In the past, if you guys remember, ES was starting to break around 135.75. I don't know if you guys remember that when they started breaking, like, I'm trying to remember what days it was.
I'm about to make me a pizza. I'm starving right now. I can't wait till market closes.
This is the end of day window. I don't know who wants this, but we'll see. AMD made a pretty good turnaround from this afternoon. AMD is actually going to take out highs here. I just got an alert on my broker. This could help. I didn't trade AMD, but if anyone is trading that. SPX also getting those bigger breaks. Where did it go? Crypto flagged you guys on the daily off those 74k marks, so I still think that that's at least worth noting. I know that this one stalled after hitting 11 and coming back down, but it's worth at least monitoring that. And Tesla's getting a bit of a turnaround here. We'll see if there's any structural breaks around that 10 or 336 window. This had the best odds of retesting highs around 344, 348, 349, so it's almost there. This is also the 5-minute extension from these periods too. Right here.
Yeah, and I'm only down 6% on my car right now, so I'm telling y'all, bro, it's gonna boom
You're down on your call? How?
because I bought up the high. Well,
Oh.
you gotta realize I got in so I got in the night before, and I sold it today for like over like 500%, and I got back in with profit, but I bought far out. I got the is it far out the money call? So that's
Oh,
why I'm
you
down.
took. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Mine expired today, so obviously I want this to move now. But
yeah, because
did
my
how many of
call
you guys
expired till
took these?
Friday.
When they kind of held structure a little bit better that second time around, that gave a second opportunity around that $1.40, $1.45 mark. If you missed the initial entries around 90 to $1.10. I had my first entry at $1.07, and then I covered, and then the second entry was at 98 cents. So like roughly with fees, it was close to like $1.03.
Oh, nice.
And you could definitely cover some here if you want. I only did 2 contracts though, so
Yeah, I swung yesterday. I had the 380 call for like $70, and I sold it safe for like 600 or something. So I got the 405 call for Friday because I'm like, if it's gonna go to 400, I'm still gonna make money
yeah,
because of the gamma.
that's still a really good play.
Yeah, because I'm like, even like for Tesla, like it's one of those like I know it can move about $10 or more, especially like this. So that's why like the only calls I buy far out of the money on is for like Tesla and for stocks that I know can move. But
Even
on
as a
stocks that are
day trade,
slow, I
honestly,
buy in the
it moved
money.
pretty good.
Hmm. I'm telling you, a lot of people gonna fall like they still looks good, but I didn't expect us to like test
Eddie, did you take
all
these?
time high so soon. Oh, it's going right
They
now.
they
Izzy,
they
it's at
held it
393.
they held it pretty good off $1. Like the premiums, like I they never even triggered back to my stop. Like beneath $1.07, a dollar three. They held pretty
Really?
nicely even on that reversal on Tesla. You could have also covered some at 250, but I just decided to leave them because I figure there's no point. I only took 2 contracts, so the
Bro,
likelihood.
that contract for the option charts, if I could chart that, that looks so clean
On the I'll show
for
you
your
guys
390.
on the 4 minute or 5 minute. I think it's the 5 minute on the option chain. Let me see. No, it was the
Mm-hmm.
4 minute. The 4, 5, and oh, the 7 minute. Look at the 7 minute option chain. chart.
Yeah,
And
show me it.
the
Show me
bear
it.
flag, it looks so clean. So, and this just flipped over on the option chain, which obviously would make a
Bro, see if Trading View could let me chart the option chains, I'm telling you, cause it's just candlesticks.
8 minute
It's
is
just
330,
candlesticks,
338. So that would have
bro.
just flipped over
That's
on the
so
option.
clean. Like you can see them buying, and then it just
Well,
booms. Like you can see
the
that.
10 minute on the option chain is flagging. Like there's a really nice flag on the 10 minute, like right here. Oh, hold on.
Wait, what software are you using for the chains?
It's just
Is that Robinhood?
no, no, no. It's the Canadian version of TD.
What the
Yeah, we're not paying expensive fees for nothing. They're hopefully going towards something.
bro? We need that. That's so
I
clean.
got
Like,
stopped
look,
out of
it
the
made a hammer
SPX calls
on the
today.
option chain.
I got stopped out of the SPX calls. I had it set to stop at break even. I'll let you guys know if I decide to re-enter those. If they bring it back the last 10 minutes, because I didn't really have high odds on SPX until end of day, so we'll see. Because I think the 61664 stall, like you guys can see. The 16 minute was a really nice one on that one too. And that runs on Tesla at like 354. It's linked to highs, so I wonder if same thing on Tesla if they do like late moves or something. Again, like stalling 70, 61, 62, 63, like that's more than enough range on ES, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if that was like max on the session. But so it looks like Tesla had a lot of flips on the option chain at 338. When did they stall here? 338? That was a flip on the option chain. So I had 336 marked as like a rough idea, but 338 was the actual flip on the chain, which could maybe keep this extended through this end of day period. I'm going to mark 354 because that's also a flip on the option chain. But on the actual charts, I had 344, 349. Okay. Whereas ES had a pretty nasty sell-off after stalling 6-1. Let's see how much range this was here. 9 points. In range is probably our 7-1. Yeah, it is. That's close to the 7-2, 7-1 area. So I think that they likely reduce that for the session. Unless, like I said, they bring it back end of day, but this is more than enough to be considered some max ranges, especially around the 70, 58, 54, 61, 63 spots if they want to keep it pinned into the close or something. Tesla got quite a bit of liquidity on those 390s just now, like almost 6,000
Mm-hmm.
in premium 2 minutes ago.
Hey, that volume table I made, Izzy, I'm telling you, you have to use that junk, especially with your
Honestly, Reggie, it's
timing.
not even about using it. It's about I don't have time to look at anything or study anything or do anything. I barely have time to eat. And like
That's true.
outside of trading and stuff too, like I'm either babysitting, cooking, cleaning. I don't know. I'm always doing something. I don't even
I
have
want
time
some
to like.
food.
I had
I want
time on Saturday to actually chart for the first time in so long. Oh, it was? Okay, that's interesting because our the 7022, 7025, I would say closer to 7027, 7028 is extremely calculated on ES, so I would imagine it would probably be calculated um on SPX. Thanks, Michelle. But we'll see anyway. We still have odds. I feel like if they can bring this back before 350, the odds are still there. Anyway, the odds were very late. They were for the last 10 minutes basically, so that's why I'm not taking it completely off the table. $4 broke on the premiums on Tesla, guys.
Oh, it's about a boom time, baby. 394. Come on.
Hopefully my broker doesn't close them because
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
forgot yours does
it's
that.
freaking
Here in
annoying.
America, ours don't close them. Well, I don't know. I take that back. It was 0 days. It closes before 3. I keep forgetting.
What do you guys think on Tesla? Do they get this
I
to
have
398 today?
397.25.
Oh, look at
I
this.
think it breaks
Dougie, this was the
394.
time of day that we had to retest highs, 344. Look at when they're doing it.
Mm.
What was the high of day?
Oh,
Let's
it's crazy how when you time it, Izzy, the volume just comes in. Like that's so crazy to me. That's so weird. That's so freaky.
that's probably why I don't really use volume that much because it's like I have to have it move before volume. So it kind of like I guess
Yeah,
it defeats
that
the
makes
purpose
sense.
of
But
like the way
it's
I
just so
set it.
weird to me, like how time. It's like time, price, and volume. Like it's just so weird to me how you time. Like the moment you time it, the volume just comes in every single time.
Can you guys document that? 344 was the earliest odd for a retest of highs. It seemed like Tesla had higher odds around like the 348, 49, 54 period, but the fact that they at least tagged it there, I think we should probably document. I don't know if that's a higher close though. That to me that looks like did they close higher? I took one contract off just in case. They did close it higher. That's still a higher close. So they didn't take out the high, but they did take out the highest close. Okay, so they closed above the high of day closing stick on a 1 minute, which I think could still keep it validated. ES, on the other hand, kind of stalling these ranges here. I'm going to just mark some spots because obviously it's getting to an area of potential volatility if they don't keep this pinnable. Do you guys see
Oh, the
how they're
market's kind of cool.
basically holding a few points above and a few points below? So they're keeping this. I would say that 4/8 is probably the calculated spot. So like around 6 to 7 points above. Okay. 7 to 6 points in between. 7 points below. Do you see what I'm saying? Above like the 6/6, 6/8 ranges. So, well, that was the theme.
It's 15 minutes stick just open on Tesla. Well, it's 2 minutes in, but it just clipped green
Uh, well, its odds are here, Dougie.
right now.
Yeah, well, 348.49, but if it does it at 347, that's better because this is a flip. This isn't a calculated time. So doing it ahead is better. Usually. Did they take it out or did they stall it?
Right now
394.
it's at three. The overall high is 394.48. It's at 394.35. So it's
Well,
pretty much right there. It's a couple cents.
on the option chain, they haven't taken out the highs yet. Usually, when they take out the highs on the chain, that's when things start moving a lot faster.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah. So I'll let you know when it does. They did on, and that usually returns it back to that price. So on the 390s, they haven't. On the 387.50s, they haven't. I would say once they clear on the 387.50s, that probably would give a pretty good idea that they could continue. On the 385s, they are stalling right at that spot. So, and that makes sense because 385 is where like its kind of lower support was here. You see that? Versus here. So,
Hmm.
um, once they clear here, I have to watch my other screen. Hold on.
Yeah, you're fine. No worries.
These were the times. Is ES breaking here too? It is. These were the calculated times on ES. On Tesla, they should happen now. 394. I'm going to put 395.25 as an alert here. I just want to see if they bring this back to 70, 60, 70, 61. Specifically before 350, because this is where it could start to um, basically put those odds back in play. As long as it's between this range, though, it's pretty stuck on ES. Tesla did take out the highs, though, at 348, so it could still keep that extension through 354. They haven't taken out the high yet, though, on the chain. The only one that did was the 380s, 382s. 385s are stalling like right at highs. 387.50s and 390s are still a little bit beneath them.
You got
They had
10
to
minutes
settle.
left.
Just be careful on Tesla. Look at that stick. That was huge liquidity on the downside, though, on that stick. ES, on the other hand, see if they can come back over 70.64, 70.63, especially off that 350 stick. ES has higher odds today, around 355, 56. So I know 350 is important, but the actual timed odds today in reference to today's lows for the session are closer to this period here. So that's what could give an extension on the index, okay? I'm gonna shut up and manage my positions into the close because I don't want
Yeah,
to end
yeah.
up
You good, you
having
good, Izzy. You good.
contracts
Just
that I
focus.
forget to sell or something, okay? So remember what I was saying earlier too, if they kind of stall around the 350, 352, 53 window, it's okay. Obviously it could imply reductions. 55, 56 I think are the cutoff though for this to even try getting a retest of 6.4. Otherwise they're likely going to keep this within a pinnable box range, and I think that that's likely between the 4.8, 5.2, 5.4, 5.8, 6.1 window. I'm gonna set this for a minute. Can you guys vote on that? I'm just curious to see what you guys think. Because obviously, and vote quickly because I set it before 3:55 so that there's no cheating. Because obviously they could bring this back like right away and then that would obviously change the way that this looks. But on SPX, we're hovering around 70-24, 25 for highs. So 70-30 I said was the max range on SPX if they actually push that, or like 70-27, 28. Technically, I guess 70-25, 30s on the chain, but 70-20, 20s and 25 seemed like the better bet since they could stall 70-27, 28. Okay, let's get votes, guys. I only set it to a minute because I wanted to see if they'd clear here at the 55, 56 marks. These are the odds of getting those high a day breaks over 6.4. There it is, 60, 64 taken out at the 355 mark. There could be some volatility that comes in with this, so just be careful. That was a new high of day though, that was taken out. Some volume coming in. Six four is really the overhead, so I think a lot of this depends on clearing the 6.4, 6.425, 6.475 spot because that's what would take it out of this means box basically. And likely between this window if they could. Otherwise they could keep this stuck like I said. But I did figure that they'd at least try retesting 6.4. But do you guys see why I was saying that if you're going to do a late day SPX, I wouldn't do 70-30s. Like that's a little too far off from where the calculated ranges are. And I don't think that there would be enough time. Like 70-25, 27, 28 seems a bit more likely. So those would not hit in the money unless they did it like final minute. But then again, you're putting yourself at like a pretty big risk. Tesla stalled, like I was saying earlier. I think with them stalling on the chain, that could potentially put that at an area where they start to reduce and kind of extend down. See if the 5.7 gets a retest here and 5.8. My thoughts are if they can get over 6.4 by 358, then that 359 mark definitely has odds. This is durational till close. So usually when you have durations till close, what time do you normally hit high of day at? If you have a durational till close type of session, what time do you typically hit high of day at? Nope. Durational till close. What time would you hit high of day at? Generally speaking. Yeah, usually 359, 4. Okay, so or for the real-time session anyway. I'm referencing real-time session, so that's why there's still some odds. I think if they clear this, they could maybe take out the high here at 359, but They needed that break above, I think, at 358. That's going to be very hard for them to do because they stalled at 358. 70, 64, 50 stall. I think if they would have cleared that at the 358 mark, they could have for sure had a continuation here. This was my max range for real-time session if they didn't clear at 70, 64, 75. I think that was pretty perfect analysis, to be honest. These could still be in play for the after-hours session here today. That I feel like had they cleared, I'll show you guys, if they cleared 7-4 or 6-4, sorry, 6-4-50, we would have probably seen a move like this. Like this is where we could have seen a big core move to like 70-68, 70-70. Do you see what I'm saying? But this was a very, very calculated move, I think, in terms of overall PA on the session today. No, they kept it within the means, which honestly, these areas though, like 5-8, 6-1, 6-4, they're still very calculated. And we had a pretty good odd if they don't want to extend that they would likely stall us there. I think also like the reduction at 349, Michelle, was probably the reduction that caused this to happen in the first place. Because remember I said today I had odds at 349 ahead of 350? I think them reducing this at 349, honestly, this is probably what allowed them to not come back to highs. Because look, that would have allowed for a break of 6-3 and maybe a retest of highs before 350. And I honestly think that that's what prevented us from seeing a continuation of like bigger range breaks at 355, 56. 56 also stalled us because that was another odd. And that's fine though if they want to keep this kind of pinnable within these ranges. Because the goal for the 15th was to take out all-time highs and try testing the 70, 52, 58, right? But the 359 in specific was based on the 5-8 not getting over 6-4. What I'm getting at with these ranges is how much range they actually reduced it by though. So like, think of it like this. If they would have taken this to 6-3, I'll draw this for you. If they would have taken this to 6-3 at 4-9, okay, instead, do you see what I'm saying? Then we would have had odds of the 350 stick getting a pretty big stick break. Do you see what I'm saying? To 6-9, 6-8. Okay, so you would have already been at a pretty big advantage. And that's what would have allowed for likely the continuation on like these candles here. And that's what could have had allowed for like core to core continued moves to like 7-7, 7-1, 7-8. Does that make sense? If they really wanted to push the close. But 5-8 in specific, it didn't stall us from getting like mass moves. It just stalled us from getting 6-6, 6-8. Because they didn't clear 6-4. Probably like a minimum of 2 points, a maximum of 4. Does that make sense? Like, look, this is if they would have cleared 6-4 here. Probably closer to here. Okay. From an open close ratio, it wasn't much. It was like 2.5 points. But 2.5 points could have gotten us 6-6. 4 points, 4.5 points could have gotten us 6-8. Does that make sense, Michelle? So like 358 basically stalled 70, 66, 70, 68 odds. But 349 and 356 stalled 70, 68 as early as 350. Okay, and a push from 355, 356 to 359 to potentially 70, 71, 70, 78 is where the extensions continued. But I think I was pretty on the money with that because I said earlier today that I don't know if they have like the full momentum based on how they were trading. And I said that 70, 58 to 61 areas seemed a little bit more likely. Okay. Where do they end up pinning the close? They pinned us at 70, 60, 70, 58, 70, 57. More pinnable than those areas there. Okay, I'm gonna sign off, guys, because today was a pretty long day for me. And
No, that's good. My food is done.
well, and Tesla Dougie
A
too. Like
pizza.
I ended up covering because I didn't like that stick down. So and I only had the two
Hmm.
contracts anyway. But you see that
That's
reduction
fine.
stick on Tesla
Hmm.
too. Same thing. Like because they didn't continue at 348, 349 on Tesla. Look at the 350 stick on Tesla. I would bet anything that this probably would have taken us to that 396, 398 targets. Okay, do you see it?
Hmm. Yeah. Hey,
Okay,
I got till Friday, so
overall
I'm chilling.
range that they reduced was in real time was close to like 3 points. 3 points from here. I'm just gonna cover this and then sign off. 3 points from here. Hold on, where is it? 3.21. That would have been very close to the 398 spots that we talked about. Okay, so these were the reductions on Tesla after stalling our 349, 348 intervals. Those were the cutoffs.
That's fine by me. I have till Friday.
Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow.
All right, Izzy.
Good night.
Thank you for the stream.